Hey friends, welcome to Post to Post. If you're new, my name is Neil. Thanks for joining me today. Taking the time out of your day to click on this video really means a lot to me. I gotta start this off by saying I looked at my analytics recently, and over 60% still of the return viewers to the channel, if you're watching more than one video, are not subscribed. If that's you, please consider hitting the subscribe button at the end of this video if you did enjoy the content. Thing number two that I want to say is that I've talked about reverse retros to death, basically. This is essentially the last main video that I'm going to make on the existing reverse retros. There's an entire another set coming by Adidas, by the NHL, coming very soon actually. We'll talk about that one lots. But the current ones, this is the last conversation. I've re-ranked them based on owning a lot of them. And when they all first came out, I ranked them even before I owned any. This ranking is based on a lot of ownership opinions, easeability as far as wear, design, some decisions. There's all kinds of, things that I took into consideration here with ranking these. Let's just jump into it. Let's not waste any time. Number 31, Detroit. This probably is not a surprise to anyone. You can actually still buy this. It's one of the few reverse retros out there that you can still buy. There's still stock in basically every size for this jersey, for good reason. I think it was disliked by the majority of people, not because it's not a nice jersey. It's a fine jersey. I love how clean it is coming up to the neck. There's no different colorization up here, extremely clean. Nice to see maybe a touch of gray in there as well. But it's so lazy. It looks like a practice jersey. There was no thought. There was no innovation. There was no call out to history, going back to something else. This isn't a retro jersey. It's a practice jersey with some stripes on it, essentially. And I think that's that's the majority of the comments out there, and I echo those comments because that's how I feel. Number 30, I put Dallas, and this strictly comes down to a decision. This is an interesting jersey. As a jersey collector, I'm glad that I have this. I think it is very unique in all Adidas jerseys. There's not really anything quite like this one. There's a lot of things I dislike about it, like the backing piece is like pure white, but the actual material is like a really, really, really almost white grayish kind of color. So it stands out. It's odd. The reason I rank this where it is really comes down to decision. Was this the right decision by Dallas for this jersey? No. They were halfway there. They went with the right design with the star, but they messed it up with the colorization. It never should have been white. It should have been, at the bottom rather, it should have been maybe the black or the green or something. Fill out that star. Don't just use the outline of the star. This was, again, widely disliked by people, and I echo those comments as well. Next, I had the Islanders. So individually, if we're not taking in consideration the Reverse Retro series, this is a nice jersey. I love this jersey, okay? I prefer it more than their home jersey. However, in the Reverse Retro series, kind of like Detroit, this is lazy. They didn't really do anything. They took their home jersey, they made some extremely minor adjustments, changed some shades of colors, and called it a day. This is not the right decision by the Islanders, in my opinion. I want to see the Fisherman, and we're going to see that in the second round, spoiler alert. But again, individually, nice jersey. As a Reverse Retro, not so much. Okay, next up, Ottawa. And I think I'm in the minority for this one. I think the majority of people would have this ranked way higher. But for me, this comes down to that belt, because that's all I see. That stripe along the belly, this reminds me of a Santa Claus uniform. It just, the red, primarily wearing red with a big black belt around the gut area. This is Santa Claus. And now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it. And for that reason, I had to rank this a little bit low. This is one of the few jerseys I actually don't have. But if I did see it on sale, of course I would buy it. Number 27, Toronto. This is an okay jersey, but there are things that I just find confusing about it. The overall design, I think, is okay, but the logo is what really bothers me. Capital T, capital O, capital R, capital O again, and then lowercase n, and then capital T, capital O. And I know this is a bit of a call out to a previous logo in their history, and the word below to it. Maple, the first letter isn't a capital, it's a lowercase. So again, I know it's a call out to a previous logo, but that doesn't mean it's right. I mean, you can fix that. So I think that little decision there was incorrect. I would 100% change that. And also, a lot of people didn't really like this jersey because it was really hard to see the numbers and stuff on the back during games and stuff. And they did eventually change that, change the stitching, which is interesting. Number 26, Edmonton. I really like this. This is kind of like the Islanders jersey. I really like this as an individual jersey. I think this is one of the most beautiful jerseys in the NHL, period, by Adidas. However, this is not a great reverse retro because it's just so close to the away jersey. The shoulders have changed a little bit. And it's if you change those shoulders to match the away jersey, the average hockey fan would have a hard time distinguishing the two. So for that reason, I felt like they played it really safe. They didn't really they could have done the McFarland jersey, the cog. We're going to see that as well in the next series. But I just thought it was maybe a bit of a missed opportunity. But individually, beautiful jersey. Number 25, Vegas. And I know I'm in the minority here for this one as well. A lot of people really like this one. It's a call out to the Las Vegas Thunder back when they played in the ECHL, I think it was. So I understand the jersey design, I understand the history. But I just felt like it was, I don't know, a bit of a drop ball here. Not necessarily with the logo. That secondary logo looks beautiful on the front. But I don't know if it was the red or if it was the neck. I don't really have a concrete decision here as to why I don't like this. Mostly a gut feeling. Number 24, the Flyers. Of all the jerseys that I don't have, this is right up there with the regrets that I didn't get. I think this is, it's an okay jersey. This is basically the definition of average. You've got a bit of a call out to the actual jerseys, which kind of has a looping stripe. It's much higher in this jersey. I get t-shirt vibes from this. I think this is maybe the main reason why I kind of ranked this a little bit low. It cuts off right at the elbow, so it almost looks like a t-shirt versus a jersey. But I think there's some other interesting aspects about this. I kind of like that there's a differentiation between the colors in the C, which is black, and then the numbers, which is orange. So it's not balanced, but it does provide some kind of interesting balance, at least. Number 23, Calgary. Blasty is never going to be a wrong decision, okay? It's Blasty. He's amazing. However, I think they messed it up on the bottom. I want to see the same design that originally existed, essentially, which means color coming all the way down from the striping. This is so close to the Vancouver Canucks skate jersey that I just found it a bit of a missed opportunity. I will say that the shoulders and the neck area, unbelievable. I love this one. Again, I regret I don't have this jersey. I think I've got like 27 reverse retros, and this is one of the ones I don't have. So, big regrets here. Number 22, Florida Panthers. I think I'm going to be in the minority. I think a lot of people have this very high on their list. But for me, this was a bit of a missed opportunity again. I think there are better options that they could have done. I would have liked them to even maybe do an inverse version of that Reebok blue jersey that we had a couple of years ago. I guess more than a couple, maybe almost a decade. I would like to see a white version of that. That would be really cool. I do, however, love that they brought back a variation of the original logo. That is amazing. So happy that they did that, and I'm very happy to have this in my collection as well. Number 21, Winnipeg. I think this was one of the more underrated jerseys in the entire lineup. It looks incredible in a uniform, and I'm very, very happy that I have this in person because it looks better in person as well. But I understand that it is not what a lot of people expected. It's not what I expected either. I like it, but I think there could have been better decisions, and I think a lot of people really echo that as well. But there's no going wrong with that logo. Just the way that I think it's called chain stitching in that logo is just unbelievable. If you can find this jersey online, and you still can in some stores, please try and get it just for the logo. Number 20, Carolina. So they've got the alternate, which is the other Hartford Whalers one, the primarily green one. And then they came up with this one, and I was like, they're really playing up this Hartford Whaler thing, aren't they? Like, I understand the history, I understand paying, homage to your history and whatnot. That's important. But two jerseys essentially in a row from a team that have really nothing to do with the current brand is a bit odd. So I was taken back a little bit by the decision here, but the decision is almost certainly never going to be wrong if you're coming up with a Hartford Whalers jersey because it's such an iconic brand. It makes people extremely nostalgic, including myself. So I'm glad that they did it. I just don't know if it was the best decision. But in general, Hartford Whalers jersey, bring it on. But no more, okay? Let's stop with the Hartford. 19, Columbus. I'm going to get some heat from this. I think a lot of people would have this later on in their ranking, like maybe near the end or at the end. They're called the Blue Jackets, and it's a red jersey. But if you own this jersey in person, or if you've seen it in person, I think you would gain a new appreciation for it, like I have done. I love that, like that logo in person is beautiful. The little call out to the stars down here, the shoulder patch has a bit of shine in it as well. It really is a beautiful jersey, and I know that the name is weird. Blue Jackets with a red jersey, it doesn't make sense. I agree, but it's just an interesting take from their brand, and I appreciate the innovation that they tried to do here with this jersey. So I wanted to award them by putting them in the top 20. Number 18, San Jose. So this is my second favorite team. As you guys know, I kind of change up my jersey every video. It's kind of random. I do that out of respect for you guys. I want to wear as many jerseys and as many pieces of merch as I can because I talk about all teams. But I guess I'm wearing New York for this one. But yeah, San Jose is my second favorite team. And I like this jersey. I think I liked it more as time went on. When I saw it in uniform, I thought it looked quite good. And then as time went on, I was like, okay, I should probably buy this. I should probably buy this. Oh crap, it's almost out of stock. I'm going to buy it. So I did buy this one, and I'm glad I did because it looks really good in person. And I don't think this is the direction that they're going to go, though, with the next reverse retro. I have a feeling we may see something maybe a little bit more modern, obviously retro, but maybe a more modern take versus this one. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good jersey. Number 17, St. Louis. I'm very conflicted with this one because it is so vibrant and bright and just almost offensive visually. However, it complements and matches so well with the alternate jersey. The only reason I bought this jersey is because I had the alternate jersey, which is the inverse color of this. At the top, it's blue instead of red, and at the bottom, it's red instead of blue. So I really wanted to have that in my collection, almost like a good and evil type of style of collection here going on with these two. But I think there are better decisions. I think that if you came up with a white version instead of this red version, like you keep the blue at the bottom, that's fine. Make it red, I don't even care. But where it's red, change it to white. I think that would have been the better decision. So I couldn't justify putting this in the top 15 because I don't think this was the best decision. But I'm kind of glad that they went with this direction just so I could add it to my collection. Number 16, Pittsburgh. One of the best reverse retro uniforms, like so good. Speaking of uniforms, I will be ranking all of the reverse retro uniforms. So I guess technically this isn't the last time I talk about reverse retros, but it's more uniform based in that video. That video is coming soon. If you want to see it, click the subscribe button. But back to this jersey, I typically don't like textual style logos. As you guys know, I don't want to sound like a broken record to the longtime viewers. Not a fan of that. But this jersey kind of just feels natural. It feels appropriate. A couple of teams that do this, like Carolina that just has canes coming down, they've never really done that before, so it feels a bit unnatural. But teams like, obviously, New York and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has done this in the early 90s, or maybe late 80s, I can't remember exactly. But this is part of their history, so absolutely they have the right to do this, and they've done it again in their alternate jersey, which is the inverse black version of this. So, very underrated jersey here in the Reverse Retro series. I didn't give it enough credit when it came out, and I apologize for that, Penguins fans. Number 15, the Devils. Okay, this one, as again, it was a really, really tough one, because when this came out, I was like, oh, man, I don't know, like a green, like really came out with the alternate with some green. Can we do something else maybe? But then when you look at the Devils' history, if you go back all the way to 1982 when they first came in the NHL and look at the progression of their jerseys and the decisions that they've made, there really wasn't any decision. There was one decision to go away from the green and red and white to go into black and red and white. Like that's the only decision, and their jerseys have really not changed that much. So what do you do if you're the Devils? You can't do anything else other than this. So now that this is done, I have no idea what they're going to do in the next series that's coming. It's totally up in the air. This is one of the ones that I regretted not buying right away, and I was able to collect it. I was very happy about that. It looks so good in person. The green and the red really, really complement each other very nicely in person. Video does not do this one justice. Photos does not do this justice. In person, this is where this jersey really shines. Number 14, the Rangers, the actual jersey that I'm wearing here. I love the decision to go back with Lady Liberty. It's what the majority of, I think, Rangers fans and even jersey collectors wanted. It's a really good decision here by New York. However, it was executed not in the best decision way. So, that was poorly worded, but you understand what I mean. So in the original Liberty jersey, we saw that color from the stripe come all the way down to the edge or to the end of the sleeve. Kind of like in Calgary, I think they made a mistake by not including that. I would have liked to see the color come all the way down. And I don't necessarily think I'm right in that decision. I just think that it's retro, but it's like not at the same. It's not reverse. It's just, I don't know. I want to see the original jersey kind of brought into Adidas light, even if it's not reverse, as long as it's retro and matches the previous retro jersey or the original jersey. That's kind of what I want. But I love this jersey. I mean, Liberty jersey looks amazing. Number 13, the Boston Bruins. This is the jersey that I probably slept the most on. I saw it when it came out. I'm like, oh my god, a yellow jersey. I hate yellow jerseys. Like the Nashville home jersey, ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. Yellow jerseys, no thanks. But then I saw them play in a game. I'm like, oh my, that uniform looks so good. And then the more pictures that I saw, people unboxing it in videos and stuff on YouTube, I'm like, okay, I think I totally slept on this jersey. I gotta buy it. And I did. Zero regrets. This looks unbelievable in person. And as a Canadiens fan, Canadiens are my favorite team, to love a Boston Bruins jersey this much feels so wrong. But I have to be objective here. I have to be unbiased. This is a beautiful jersey, and I have no regrets in purchasing it. And I'm sorry that I slept on it when it first came out. Number 12, Chicago. I kind of felt like this one really jumped up my list from my original ranking. This is very underrated. I think they made the right decision all around, really. Typically, I do not like rounded style shoulders. I like the squared off shoulders, and this is one of the few exceptions where I think it's okay. Typically, retro style jerseys do use the rounded shoulder yokes versus the square ones. So in this reverse retro series, it makes total sense to kind of go that direction. So I think it's acceptable. I think the numbers look good. The C looks good. Everything looks really good. And it's also a black jersey, which we don't really have other than the Winter Classic from Chicago. So kind of satisfied a couple of fans who wanted a black jersey. Number 11, Minnesota. People are going to hate this ranking because this is the Subway jersey. But this kind of goes into seeing it on the ice. In uniform, and I know this isn't a uniform ranking, okay? But in uniform, this looked so good. And it really elevated my opinion of the jersey. I just felt like it was one of the standout ones in the NHL. And the numbers, the way that they did the numbers is very close to the Rangers' regular home and away numbers. It just looks like having that big, giant drop shadow looks amazing. I'm so glad that they went with that direction with the numbers. Typically, they've used some stylistic numbers in the past, which look great. But on this, on a retro jersey, man, it's so good. And going with the North Stars colors. What a great decision. I hope they do a dark version of this jersey. I know a lot of people don't want that, but I'm all for it. Number 10, the Colorado Avalanche. A lot of people probably expected for this to be in the top 5, and I know that I'm in the minority. I don't like this as much as most people, and I don't really know why. I think it's an okay jersey. I think it was the right decision to go with the Nordiques. I knew people were going to love it. It's great. The colors, the Nordiques jersey recolorized in the Colorado Avalanche brand. It's perfect. It makes total sense. I think that maybe it shouldn't have been white. I would have rather to see like a burgundy jersey or the blue instead of a white jersey. I'm hoping that they do that. Actually, in the next one, there's been some conflicting information. I would love to see a different colorized version of this, but I can't deny that this is an amazing jersey, so I had to put it in the top 10 and 10th. In 9th, we've got Buffalo. I think a lot of people slept on this jersey, guys. I really think a lot of people dislike this for the wrong reasons, and maybe not the wrong reasons, but seeing this jersey in person really elevates it. It's kind of like some of the other jerseys I talked about. I think Columbus was amazing in person. The New Jersey Devils jersey was great in person. This one is another one of those. Seeing this in person, seeing the bit of shine and fleck in the shoulder patch, in the logo, and having the sublimation print down below at the bottom, extremely unique in the entire series. Plus, we got the goat head. Okay, we've got the goat head back on the shoulders. I would have preferred to see these flipped, having the goat head on be the main primary logo, and then have the butter knives up on the shoulders. But undeniably, amazing jersey. Number 8, Vancouver. I think I ranked this very low when this first came out. I didn't appreciate the gradient, and I really appreciate the gradient now, especially in person. Again, another one of these jerseys that looks so good in person. That gradient just shines. It is the standout feature. Like, there's a couple of standout features in the entire series. The Anaheim sublimation full print or whatever. I think the Arizona one is really cool as well. There's lots of unique things, but really Vancouver was the only one that went like, I'm going to do a gradient, and I'm going to do it like the entire jersey. So I'm kind of glad that they did that. This is a standout jersey in this entire series. Number 7, Tampa Bay. My biggest regret. My absolute biggest regret. It was in my top 5 to get. I decided not to get it. I went with a different direction that I thought would sell out quicker. I think it was Nashville, maybe, or no, it wasn't Nashville. It was a different one. And I thought, okay, I'll buy this eventually. And then it sold out. This was so popular. This is one of the ones I don't have. Huge regrets. I think it was a great decision here by Tampa to go to this direction. I kind of wish it was black primarily instead of blue primarily, but I think that, this was not a wrong decision. This was absolutely the right decision. And generally to go with kind of that look and that brand, that previous brand, great jersey. Number 6, Montreal. So I do not believe that I'm ranking this biasly, even though I'm a Canadiens fan. I think objectively, this is a beautiful jersey. I don't think they won a game. I don't think they won one game of the 8, 9, 10 games they've played with this jersey. I think they lost them all, actually. So bad luck jersey. But I think this was the perfect decision. I don't know what other decision you could have made that people would have loved more than this one. You just switch the colors. You might call that lazy, but it fits right in with their brand. It's totally acceptable from a design perspective. It mimics the home jersey. So this was not only the right decision, but it looks good too. And that specific shade of blue, just as a primary in a Montreal Canadiens jersey, looks so good. Number 5, Washington. If this was different colors, this would be maybe number 1 or 2 or 3. But I decided to put it 5 because I think Although this was the right decision to go with the Screaming Eagle in this design, one of the most popular jerseys in NHL history, not just Washington Capitals history, the wrong colors were chosen. I want the original colors, not the new colors. So that's the only criticism for this one. But I love this jersey. Like, you can see it. I guess you can't see it, but I have it in the background there. You probably saw it at the beginning of the video. Let's move on to number 4. And that's going to be Anaheim. So we talked a little bit about it a couple minutes ago. But the sublimation print, like, this is the most comfortable jersey that I've ever worn. It is cartoony, it's silly, it's ridiculous as an NHL jersey, but it's completely different than anything else. And I just love how bold Anaheim was with this. They made an incredibly bold decision to go with this. Bold move, Cotton, and it paid off. Like, this is an iconic jersey. So very happy that I bought this jersey. Like I said, extremely comfortable to wear, very stylistic font and C and stuff, very unique in the NHL. Great decision by Anaheim. Number 3, Arizona. Very unique. Again, kind of like the Anaheim one. There are unique pieces here. There's a whole sublimation entire section at the bottom. The logo kind of recolorized that. Looks great. And a purple jersey. We don't get many purple jerseys. There's one other one that we haven't talked about yet. We'll see that soon. But great decision to go with the purple. This is really another standout jersey in this entire series. Number 2, I put Nashville. And you may be criticizing me here a little bit. Like, Neil, I know you. You don't like yellow jerseys. You just talked about it a little bit ago, but the Boston jersey. How is this top 3? You hate the Nashville home jersey, and this is kind of close. You're totally right. Typically, I do not like yellow primary jerseys. While this is yellow primary, and I would change that, I still think this looks phenomenal. The way that the neck is done is great. The logo colorized like that is perfect. The C, keeping the those stylized C and the numbers in there was great. But this all comes down to material. If you do not have this jersey, if you've never seen it in person, please scour the internet and try and find it. You must have this in your collection. The shoulder material is different than any other Adidas jersey that's ever been created. This entire gray section that runs down as well, same material at the bottom. It's stretchy, it's soft, it's completely different than anything else. This is a very comfortable jersey to wear. It's a very unique jersey to have as a jersey collector. And I love the fact that they just thought outside the box and like, yeah, we could do a jersey design, but let's actually kind of try and be innovative with this retro jersey and change the materials a little bit. So massive props to the Nashville Predators and to Adidas as well for allowing this material to kind of live on this jersey. Great decision. And number 1, which is probably isn't a surprise to anyone if they know me, LA Kings. There is not a single thing wrong about this jersey. I love the decisions here, and I think this has something that I typically complain about, but I don't mind it on this jersey because it is retro, and that thing is the numbers kind of by the elbow. That's a movement piece. So realistically, do you really want like two big numbers sewn in there when you're trying to move your arm and stuff? But I don't care, not for this one, because it's just so like that logo colorized like that with the original colors, the most popular LA Kings jersey, which is the chevron jersey from the 90s, the late 80s, and then you're gonna make this with the original colors, the yellow or the gold and the purple? Are you kidding me? Like, there is no better decision than this. I would love to see a white version of this. I think LA completely knocked it out of the park. There's second place, Nashville. Could have been Tampa, could have been Arizona, could have been 1,000 other, or I guess, whatever, 31 other jerseys. None of them came close, okay? None of them came close for me. This was immediately my favorite jersey in the Reverse Retro series. In fact, I think I ranked it number 1 in my initial ranking. It remains my number 1. It remains one of my favorite jerseys in my entire collection. I will never get rid of it. I will never sell it. I will have it until the day I die. That's how much I love this jersey. That's the hill that I'll die on, but I don't think I'm right. There is no right or wrong. That's the great thing about this. Everyone should have a different ranking. Everyone should have a different jersey that they love. This is all for fun, right? If you've taken this so seriously that this ranking has made you upset, you can go for a walk, have a popsicle, pet a dog, pet a cat, do whatever you need to do to calm down. But at the end of the day, when you come back, realize that this is all for fun. Nothing to get mad at. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you got the time out of your day, please let me know down below in the comment section. It's been over a year now, okay? What do you think is the best reverse retro jersey? What do you think is the worst reverse retro jersey? And which one, maybe more specifically, here's a better question. Of the jerseys that were released, and you had your initial opinions, which one did you change your mind on? Which one do you now like that you initially didn't like? That's what I would be more interesting to hear. So if you've got a couple minutes, we'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. I said this video is going to be short. I guess it's maybe more like 25 minutes. Apologies. That's typical Neil. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button. Please consider hitting the subscribe button if you're new. I'll talk to you guys in the future, tomorrow, very soon. Adios.